What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
I played it. I finally played it. I've had the Stream Beats rock album for how long now, and I finally played the lead single. That's Kill It Anyway from the Stream Beats rock album Demon that came out a while back, and only now am I finally playing it. But I have a perfect excuse, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why I'm playing that just now is we're going to talk about, obviously, the stuff that's been going on Twitter, the announcement of Harris Heller going to YouTube, and the age of the TwitchTuber is over, hence the title. But I thought it'd be appropriate to finally play that song. I've been trying not to play it because I thought it was played a little too much during the promos for that album. So one of the things I like to do is, I like to actually find, underdog stuff to support, underdog computers that still work, underdog this or underdog that, or buy underdog equipment for things like making videos, and see just how far I can make it go. So it's one of those things that happens on this channel. We experiment with low budget equipment and see what we can squeeze out of it. Stuff like that. That Nexigo camera that's recording me right now, that doesn't look all that bad if I do say so myself, is a sub $100 webcam. So it's not even like Logitech or anything. And it's leaps and bounds ahead of what I had last year when I first started streaming with a Logitech camera, and I had super slow shutter speed, super slow, super terrible exposure, and this wasn't lit the way it looks. It looked a lot darker. So I'd say, despite having to readjust the manual focus every single time, it was definitely worth it. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay, coming out of the microphone in the middle of the night to talk about some multimedia meta stuff as we head towards the end of that ESO event that's been sucking away a lot of my free time lately. It was extended until April 15th, so there'll probably be a maintenance or something, so I'm thinking maybe 1 or 2 more rounds of daily quests, and then my characters can call it a Jubilee event. But it's just and then of course we can progress the story forward with some of this gear I've had sitting new in the box for weeks now, and more stuff with computers, more stuff with technology, because as I've hinted at, I think that YouTube is moving in a direction where they have to revamp their partner program. We talked about this before, but I didn't think the discussion was really all that great, so I scrapped it. But I still have the slides. I think the YouTube partner program is outdated. So is any focus that YouTube still has on ad revenue as being anything really serious at this point, because they've closed the gap with Twitch in terms of having forms of revenue for creators that don't have to be tied to the fickleness of advertising. I'm just wondering when YouTube is going to put 2 and 2 together on this and figure out that they can split the monetization program to be ad revenue and everything else. So something I've been tossing around. I've even added to the slides from the last time I discussed it. And we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that at some point later on. But for tonight, actually, I should probably save my slides. Let's open those up. For tonight, though, we have some very important things to talk about. So let's see. We'll do it with save as on this. YouTube monetization. YouTube monetization is outdated. Did I even say who I was? What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay. I think I did. Yeah, well, it's been a while since I've done one of these darn things. But yeah, so we're here today because of some big news over on Twitter, which will I'm thinking it's going to send everything over to the world of online media sometime sooner rather than later. I was so tempted to load this video up in debate mode too, and look at Harris's points one at a time. But by and large, let's get some music going here. By and large, I think I should just let this be for a bit and see what these folks do. So, fire this up. And let's pick another song. Stream Beats, by the way, Stream Beats Synthwave and the Demon Instrumentals are loaded up for the music today. Streambeats.com. It's one of Harris's projects, and as much as I opened with that what I thought was overplayed Kill It Anyway song, I'm actually going to close with the Wellerman song, which is near a cappella, some kind of, I don't know. It's like something that like sailors would sing or something. I don't know why Harris had that even on the album. It's not on the instrumentals because it's got a lot of acapella in it, but either way, the age of the TwitchTuber is over. Sayonara, TwitchTuber era. So what we have here is Harris Heller is leaving Twitch to stream on YouTube. Ha 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 ha, forced laughter. There's another song which is commercial music, so we can't play it, of course. Hate to say I told you so, but I knew this was coming. I know that Harris has been tossing around this idea for a while, and he even explains it in his own video. But, I mean, it's just, look, the old philosophy of, make YouTube videos to grow on Twitch, then bring the audience back to Twitch. Yeah. So here's the thing. Harris Heller posted a little something, and Ashney Christ responded in the thread. Oh, yeah, you have see, let's just load this up. Oh, yeah, figures that you would say this the day after I decided to start streaming on YouTube. I'm like, oh, cool, they're both going somewhere. They're both going over to YouTube. Well, here's the problem. Look, YouTube is well established. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. YouTube doesn't need Twitch. And YouTube doesn't need Twitch streamers. YouTube doesn't need any Twitch growth gurus either. There are people making videos about the meta, not just people like me doing it just because we're nerds and we like talking about this stuff. There's people like Nick Nimmin who have channels that are dedicated to things like growing on YouTube and stuff like that. YouTube specific. But I suppose it's probably a good idea that we put on screen, just what exactly has this philosophy been and just how the credibility for it is completely gone. If you got two of the biggest people, if you have two of the biggest supporters of this idea that Twitch needs to be propped up by a YouTube channel because Twitch isn't doing enough for its creators, let's be blunt. Let's see here. TwitchTuber philosophy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Which now has no credibility. But Harris and Ashney were two people that threw these ideas around, made meta videos and things like that. Now, here's the thing. I think Harris is going to do okay for himself. Don't know about Ashney, though. Her channel is basically all meta stuff with a review of a standing desk. But the big thing here to look at is what Harris is doing here. Harris doesn't just talk about the meta, and that's extremely important. Harris does hardware videos. Matter of fact, he has a really nice hardware demonstration about how you don't need the most expensive equipment to have good looking videos and streams. It's a matter of, I mean, there is an element of better equipment will give you higher quality, but a lot of that higher quality comes from knowing how to use the equipment that you upgrade to, not necessarily getting the most expensive stuff. This is something that back in my early days as an audiovisual guy in college, I remember my alma mater struggled with this big time. They'd buy a $25,000 projector and then barely know how to use it. So the AV folks would barely know any of the features on it, and it'd be like, yeah, so what? But it was something you could brag on the admissions tours about how, oh, we provide the best for our students. Look at that $25,000 projector in this classroom. Like, no wonder college is so expensive. So I am extremely familiar with the idea of thinking that spending money or throwing money at a problem makes it go away, or spending money on gear gives you diminishing returns if you don't know how to use the gear that you're spending the money on. So Harris has some really good hardware demonstrations and experiments on his channel. He also has, of course, the Stream Beats project, which is where the music comes from. Is this? Yeah, this is. Yeah, this is. I'm getting this mixed up with a YouTube audio library track. So. But yeah, so Harris has the Stream Beats project, which is awesome. And Harris also has, see, make sure that's playing, right? Good. Harris also has a pretty good hardware stuff. He doesn't need to be doing meta commentaries. And when he talks about the meta and business, he mentions these things related to growing Twitch channels and stuff like that. But especially the business stuff, just anybody with a formal business background, instead of running a bunch of small businesses, will be able to spot issues with some of the things he says. I've done it. Devin Nash has done it. So it's just one of those things, you know. But I think he'd be perfectly fine if he never touched the meta of anything ever again. So that's the thing. He's got so much good stuff. He's got hardware, and he's got discussions. He's got the Stream Beats project. I don't think he even needs to touch the meta. It's his decision, though, to what videos he's going to put on his Alpha Gaming channel, soon to be Senpai Gaming channel. And this whole thing about burning the boats, that little video that he made, melodramatic overreaction. There's nothing wrong with having a portfolio of presences on different platforms. So, okay, maybe you don't want to stream on Twitch anymore, but keep the channel around. Maybe sign as an affiliate instead of a partner, so that there's some subs or something like that, and you have access to that. And then do something completely different, like maybe do some game streaming or something. Give it a different character from what you're doing over on YouTube. At the very minimum, I think Harris should upload a new channel trailer, alerting anybody who only follows him on Twitch that he's made the decision to start streaming on YouTube, and he's made the decision to start streaming on YouTube on a separate channel. Now, this is something I've already seen before from somebody who came from Twitch to YouTube with the whole Big E thing earlier. Let me just load up and compare his numbers here. Let's go Firefox. I want to see things from my YouTube perspective here, from my own YouTube account's perspective here. So let's see, Soar Big E. Probably how I'll find his channel now. Am I even still subbed to him? I never subbed to his live stream channel, and I don't know if he's actually going to. Yeah, I am subbed to his main channel, but I'm not subbed to his live stream channel. And here's the thing with YouTube, you need to sub, ring the bell, and select all notifications. So I've been surprised a couple of times by not getting the notifications for people on YouTube that I want to watch their live streams. So I've missed streams. I found out about them after the fact, and some other things. Then I found out when you subscribe, you only get personalized notifications. You don't get the going live stuff unless you set the bell to all notifications. I think YouTube needs to redo that. I think YouTube needs to redo it so you have little check boxes, and you pick, kind of like on Facebook, where you pick, certain kinds of updates and stuff you want to receive from others. They should put in like check boxes to what you want to receive. Do you want to know when someone posts a video? Do you want to know when someone posts a YouTube short? Do you want to know when someone is going live? Then that's the thing. Or maybe have drop downs for that, and have subscribing give you like some kind of default thing for like videos and streams. But the way it is right now, you don't get notifications that someone's live unless you're subbed with the bell all the way up. And I don't know if everybody wants to see every single thing that everybody they follow updates. So it's just one of those things. YouTube has some UI updates, just like with streaming in general. YouTube is very close to its roots with videos and streaming. I mean, they have a pretty decent streaming setup, and especially hybrid streaming, because you can edit your VODs with as they're called on Twitch, with a robust cloud editor, get out the boring parts and turn those into videos. So instead of it being like 8 hours and you have like you're constantly walking away from the camera, like order pizza or something or use the bathroom or whatever, you can cut all that out and make it into a really long YouTube video that people can watch. So there's lots of neat things you can do on YouTube that Twitch just would not be good at. But let's see, what does he have here? His live stream channel, Big E's live stream channel, much like on Twitch, the view counts actually, see, I think he has some, yeah, he has, let's do past live streams. What does he have for views? 300 views, 600 views, and this corresponds to whatever his concurrence count was. 400 views, 2,200 views, da-da-da. Yeah, so I'm looking at Big E's channel here. So the thing is, I think he wound up going back to Twitch, but the thing is, we got to stop pretending that these platforms exist in isolation from each other. I mean, let's face it. You can come onto YouTube and you can do a bunch of stuff, bunch of different video things. You can even you get your community tab. You do little updates similar to a blog if you want to do that. You do all kinds of other stuff. But YouTube has all these things, but think of it this way. We talked about this last time. Imagine if Facebook did something about its problems with real names. What would Facebook bring to the table? You'd have a platform where you can make videos, you can stream, you can upload photos, you can put those photos in albums, and you can do text updates. Similar to how a multi-platform content creator nowadays will upload videos to YouTube, stream on Twitch, upload pictures to Instagram, and post updates on Twitter. But all of this within an ecosystem. And depending on what kind of algorithms Facebook develops, it would be a monster of a system. Because you would have, I mean, I think even YouTube would do an about face. No, seriously, think about it. Imagine if Facebook got past its problems with real names. It would be wild. It would be a wild competitor. But as it stands, it's kind of a deterrent. There's people out there that care about their privacy. And Facebook has a long reputation of the whole privacy thing. There have been times when Facebook has rolled out new features and the privacy settings were defaulted all the way down. So it's a brand issue. Facebook would have to get over that. They're known as, oh, we take your data, da-da-da, and stuff like that. There's people that don't like Facebook. There's a whole delete Facebook campaigns of the last couple of years. But I think Facebook is a platform that's just holding on for too long to something that's become outdated. The old e-shrine thing of the MySpace era, where social media was always your real name, some local friends, some family, some messaging back and forth, and some updates. But nothing really that would be an issue like a privacy issue. Like what we have today on YouTube. Or anything that's publicly visible. So if Facebook ever got over that, they'd be a force to be reckoned with. So let's see here. Let's make a slide. Let's make a slide illustrating where it is that we're coming from here. All right, the TwitchTuber philosophy. Let's see if PowerPoint auto loads here. Oh, cool. The TwitchTuber philosophy, and yeah, let's open up the ribbon. So that way whoops. There we go. Let's open, not the file menu. Back. Let's go to view. There we go. And let's hit the thumbtack so that way it's always below and stuff. Wow, man. I'm supposed to be Mr. PowerPoint here. What was in this anyways? No self-promotion, truckers, the funnel, 2020s, da-da-da. Look at all this. All this MultimediaJay stuff taking over my PowerPoint. And I'd hardly be a PowerPoint. I'd hardly be a multimedia nerd if I didn't do some playing around in PowerPoint here. So here's the TwitchTuber philosophy. Here's what has lost its credibility as two of its biggest proponents have decided to just go stream on YouTube. So Harris is the big focus today, of course, but the TwitchTuber philosophy. Here's what it boils down to. It's quite blunt, and it's rather, well, so bottom line, Twitch sucks. You can't grow on Twitch. Let's not get so, like, juvenile right off the bat. This isn't like Beavis and Butthead or anything. This sucks. Yeah, let's put the bullet point back on there at least. All right, the TwitchTuber philosophy. Here's the thing. See, first problem, you can't grow on Twitch. You can't grow on Twitch, so make YouTube videos to grow an audience there and bring the audience back to Twitch. This is problematic for several reasons. You can't, let's put that in quotes because it's never been something I've been all that fond of. This is the idea, this is the philosophy. You can't grow on Twitch, so make YouTube videos to grow an audience there and bring the audience back to Twitch. Harris talked about how he made it like a soundboard or something. You could push a button and have it say that. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. If a platform like Twitch doesn't measure up, if a platform like Twitch doesn't measure up, that's a platform problem. So we talked earlier on Twitter about this idea of if not you, then who? It's a thing in business. The idea here is if you don't do something, what happens if your competitors get to it first? Like, I know from seeing a couple of Devin Nash commentaries on this matter that there's this idea that, oh yeah, trying to grow on Twitch is like planting a seed in the middle of winter and expecting the seed to actually grow. So, yeah, I'm just planting seeds in the middle of winter, in the snow. And, oh, Twitch just provides a place to host, da-da-da. They don't have to do anything. Well, here's the thing. Even if a platform doesn't have to do anything, they are managing a brand. And part of that brand management is this idea of how your customers, or creators in this case, perceive the product or service. So whether or not you can grow on Twitch is a brand issue with Twitch. So yeah, it's just whether or not you can grow on Twitch it's part of how everything is perceived there. So even if it's not Twitch's job to hook you up with an audience, and they have algorithms, they have some features that look like they might, even if you got to a certain size concurrence wise, it looks like they might actually work to help introduce you to more people, such as recommended smaller communities and the like. But the real thing that you have up your sleeve if you're streaming on Twitch is the ability to play underrepresented games, have the category to yourself, and if you put on a good show when you're playing maybe a game that nobody else wants to play, the time that your VOD spends in that category is basically a billboard for you being a streamer. That's not available in a more algorithmically centered platform like YouTube. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons to maintain a Twitch presence, but when you consider the politics in the leadership, you consider their policy decisions, some of the rules they have are stuffier than on YouTube. It really, if you care about having a presence on Twitch, you're going to care. No, that's a platform problem. If you want to have if you care about your presence on Twitch, you're probably going to be very intimidated into a very milquetoast channel, because there are a lot of rules that Twitch has that are actually stricter than YouTube. Some YouTubers starting Twitch channels have run into this the hard way via ending up with an indefinite suspension. So, there's this policy that's stricter on Twitch than YouTube, but oh, shoot. And then they find out the hard way that unlike Team YouTube on Twitter, Twitch's support teams are a lot slower to respond when you do something like appeal and indefinite suspension. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, but you see the big streamers getting treated nicely, but they're big streamers. I mean, there's just so much baked-in elitism on Twitch. It's insane. Even the gifted subs, we can go full screen for this. Even the gifted subs thing is biased towards the biggest creators. Because think about it this way. What's the advertising experience like on Twitch? Unskippable. You have unskippable pre-rolls and mid-rolls, and then at least supposedly there's experiments at mid-rolls. Then the streamer can just run an ad break or something. Or maybe they're under some kind of deal where they have to run ad breaks every so often as part of their partner contract. You never know with certain creators on Twitch, because Twitch partner contracts are negotiated individually, unlike the affiliate contract, which is very one size fits all. But the ad experience on Twitch is what people are getting annoyed by. They're annoyed by the umpteenth Totino's Pizza Rolls ad, or Geico Insurance, or, or, hi, this is Lucia. I met some dude on Indeed that did my emotes for me. I've been seeing that one for a year. So you have all this going on. They have the unskippable pre-rolls. You have the pre-rolls that are basically interfering with people's ability to discover your stream. Unless you run enough ad breaks you get, which is like a half hour for every 3-minute ad break or something. Unless you run enough ad breaks as a Twitch affiliate, you end up with, pre-rolls and mid-rolls, or pre-rolls turning on, unless you run mid-rolls. People don't like that. They don't like it when they're trying to discover new people to watch and they get the umpteenth ad for the same thing they've seen a million times. They don't want to sit through it. And then, of course, people returning don't want to sit through ads. So you may run the risk of people may like you, but they may not come back because they bounce because of the pre-roll ad. So what gifted subs represent is one of those things that scales with the size of your channel. The biggest Twitch streamers are going to have the most people with disposable income that look like, hey, look, I'm an oiler, and they gift a bunch of subs. And everybody who gets those gifted subs is probably somebody who's watched recently for the most part, unless they go to bots, which I hear sometimes it happens. But gifted subs are one of those things where you watch a big channel long enough, or even a decent sized channel with a good fan base, you'll eventually get a gifted sub. And it'll happen more often on the bigger channels. So these gifted subs are going to be ways to watch ad-free. So if you have 7 people or whatever in that left menu on Twitch, you're trying to find something to watch on Twitch, the big streamers where you have gifted subs are not going to have ads. So less likely to bounce. Then it is up to the content and whether or not you're interested in what the streamer's doing. But you see how this works? The bigger streamers will have the edge over you because they have more people to gift subs, so your odds are higher that you'll eventually get gifted and get a whole month of ad-free viewing for free. Put it all together. And that is one of many ways in which the deck is stacked against you if you try and become a Twitch streamer. The only real thing that I'd recommend people do on Twitch is something very, very unique, like playing underrepresented games or something. Don't be the umpteenth person streaming Call of Duty. Don't be the umpteenth person streaming Skyrim. Don't be the umpteenth person streaming Grand Theft Auto. That's the territory of the established creators who will always be towards the top of the categories because of their concurrence, unless the algorithm intervenes, and there's less of that on Twitch than there is on YouTube. One of the big reasons that I became a Twitch affiliate is by playing games like Mario Kart Super Circuit and Super Nintendo games that I noticed weren't being represented on Twitch very well. Then I went back to ESO, but streaming on YouTube at 1080-60 gives you a max bitrate of 9 grand versus 6 grand on Twitch. So ESO looks so amazing if you can max the game out these days. It has TAA in it even. The graphics have been upgraded all over the place. You can hardly tell that ESO came out in 2014 or so. So you can hardly tell that ESO came out in the early 2010s. It's kind of like Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5 has been upgraded a bunch of times. So it's hard to believe that ESO and GTA are over a half-decade old games right now. And of course, there's mods for Skyrim that make Skyrim look amazing, so you don't think much about how it came out in 2011. So it's just one of those things. But because of the better-looking games, I want the better-looking games to be able to benefit from the higher bit rates on YouTube. So those kinds of game streams are going to come back over, leaving, I don't know, stuff from the backlog, retro, something like that. But I don't want to use the retro category because retro has grown into a category of people that just do a one-size-fits-all and they have enough concurrence to be close to the top. Mike Matei's channel's like that. So it's the same problem as everywhere else there are moderately sized or big streamers. You're not going to get, nobody's going to find you because you're buried in the bottom of the directory. So the only real way to really get anywhere on Twitch is to play underrepresented games and meet a need that's not being met, essentially by the existing community. Basically be a big fish in a small pond. And this all boils back to more stuff I studied in college. Business stuff. Business stuff. Market structures. You can be a sliver in a huge market, or you can be the dominant competitor in a small market. The question is, what size market do you want to be in, and which is better than the other? Is it better to be a sliver in the big market or the leader of a small market? So it's all decisions that businesses have to make with their product mix and what they sell. And as a Twitch streamer, not all that different. What games do you want to play? How popular are those games? Are there already a bazillion people playing those games with the delusional belief that doing the same thing as literally everybody else is going to make them into the next ninja? Or something along those lines. But at the same time, if you play games that nobody really cares about anymore, how many people do you really expect to get? How much of a community for, say, Wild Snake, the snake answer to Tetris from the 1990s, or Word Tris, or the Super Nintendo version of Monopoly or something? What kind of an audience do you think really exists for that? How about Yoshi's Safari, the game that required the Super Scope back in the day? So, what about that? So these are things you could do on Twitch, not so much on YouTube with the higher algorithms and things like that. Anyways, let's get back to this philosophy here. The TwitchTuber philosophy: you can't grow on Twitch, so you make YouTube videos to grow an audience there and bring the audience back to Twitch. If a platform like Twitch doesn't measure up, that's a platform problem. So if you can't grow on Twitch, then if you find a platform where it looks like you can grow there, if people find a platform where they think they can grow on it, what do you think they're gonna do? Even if it's not real, even if it's just something they think is going on, they're gonna act on it. People act on incomplete information all the time. It's part of taking an educated guess about things when you don't know the answer for certain. So you head over to YouTube because you think there's more growth on YouTube. That's the thing. If a platform like Twitch doesn't measure up, that's a platform problem. So even if it's not Twitch's responsibility to help anybody get anywhere on the platform, the minute people think they can grow somewhere else, guess what they're gonna do? The minute people think that YouTube is a better platform for streaming, guess what they're gonna do? And I've been wondering when this was gonna happen for the longest time. So, yeah, I've been wondering when this was gonna happen. So I just never guessed it would be Harris Heller that would do something like this. I thought that maybe, some folks that had like 20 concurrents or 100 concurrents or whatnot would be like, yeah, let me go try YouTube streaming. But it's just one of those things. YouTube doesn't need Twitch streamers, though. Twitch streamers need to step up to the plate if they come over to YouTube. Because there's already, even in terms of gurus, in terms of how to grow your channel, those already exist. They're YouTube specific, and they haven't spent years using YouTube as a means to an end. And that fundamentally is the problem with this whole idea of make YouTube videos and try and bring your audience back to Twitch. Let's get into some of these bullet points here. If a platform like Twitch doesn't measure up, that's a platform problem. If not you, then who is in play? If Twitch doesn't look like they're responding to the changing world of online media, who will? YouTube? Facebook? Someone else? So, as a creator, you don't want to be going gung-ho for just one platform. You always want to have an open mind to trying new things and maybe even trying new platforms. I mean, as much as I like YouTube, I've been checking out TikTok lately and seeing why that became as popular as it is. And it's not just Zoomers dancing in their college dorm rooms or anything like that. Not that that would be wild anyways. I mean, folks in my generation were doing stupid videos dancing in our dorm rooms too. It was just on a pre-YouTube website, like College Humor or something, or maybe it was on the College Network or something, and someone might download and be like, oh, you made a funny video. So, I mean, it's not like things change sometimes. History has this thing for repeating itself. But as I've checked out TikTok, it's not just silly dances or something with words on the screen and lyrics. There actually are people that are using TikTok to make constructive stuff. Like, for example, a recipe or a life hack or something like that, or just doing quick little microblog style updates. I mean, if you think that taking an existing format and making it smaller is going to destroy that format, you need to learn about how Twitter became what it is. The original formal name for what tweeting is was microblogging. And I remember being skeptical. I was like, you can have a blog with articles and stuff like that. Why do you need a platform where you're extremely limited on the number of characters? Was I naive? Next thing you know, Facebook is updating itself to put more of an emphasis on quick updates, similar to what Twitter was doing. So yeah, microblogging, nowadays known as tweets. So you figure YouTube gets too bureaucratic. People are putting like in-video advertising and all kinds of other crap in their videos. Nobody really gets to the point anymore. In comes a platform where you have 1 minute tops to make a vertical video with your smartphone and do something. And it's going to be shown in a feed that people are scrolling through with their finger. And they can follow you or something along those lines. And there's the social elements to it as well. But that kind of platform, by the way, no dislikes that I know of over on TikTok. So the whole dislike thing is kind of moot when it comes to TikTok. So TikTok becomes a thing, becomes a popular thing, to the point where people actually say, let's make a TikTok instead of let's make a video if they got their phones and they got the app open. So TikTok becomes this big thing, and it shakes everything up. Much in the same way that Twitter did the same thing to blogging. Oh, microblogging. What's the point of microblogging? How can you blog in like 160 characters? History will say otherwise. Look at how popular Twitter has become. Look at how mainstream it has become so quickly. Look at how we're talking about tweets as something more serious than what they originally were. Microblogging. Yeah, I'd say this can work. And then here we are with YouTube, as established as it is, creating a competitor to TikTok. YouTube Shorts. I say the tail wagged the dog here. The part of the appeal of TikTok is the ability to do a lightning round where you are introduced to lots of creators, and you can very quickly, everybody has a minute, so you can pick people to follow based on little tiny snippets of stuff that they're doing. It's a great way to be constantly introduced to more people. And as I've done the experiment with TikTok versus YouTube Shorts, once I got the hang of, TikTok is used for a lot of different things besides silly dance videos in dorm rooms, TikTok has actually been the steadier player, whereas the views that I've had on YouTube have gone all over the place with YouTube Shorts. TikTok.com/@/MultimediaJay, or do you have to put in @MultimediaJay? Oops, I got 404 because I misspelled everything. All right, TikTok.com/MultimediaJay. Forgot a letter. I've had this mechanical keyboard for a year. You'd think I'd have gotten used to it. Oh, nope. 404. Let's try @. I think there are ats in here. Not used to using the @ as part of a URL. Oh, there it is. So let's see. TikTok. 570 views. 570 views on the delayed upload of I Lost the Sound. It sounds like an Atari gone wrong. But a steady amount of at least 100 views on all the TikToks that are basically top clips from some YouTube videos I've done. Not even making stuff specific for TikTok, and already passing the $500,000 mark with views on an old World of Warcraft thing about my sound glitching out from years ago. Because it's simple and it works, and you can scroll through it and you can like it. Let me actually see, this I Lost the Sound thing. Now? I lost the sound. Yeah, it's got some likes too. So also a view on TikTok might be simply someone scrolling by it as well. But so if you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to go from YouTube to Twitch, or I'm going to go from Twitch to YouTube, and you're not going to think about doing different things with your former channel, then how do you handle something like TikTok? How do you handle something like, TikTok becoming what it is? I think everybody should find something to put on there, because there's an entire, every one of these platforms has an audience that is specific to that platform, where they might only watch on there, or it might take some work to get them to want to come over to one of your other platforms. So if a platform like Twitch doesn't measure up, that's a platform problem. See here. If a platform like Twitch doesn't measure up, that's a platform problem. It's not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility for your platform to support you. That is something that the people in the platform need to do. And if a platform doesn't measure up, that is a platform problem, and the platform doesn't need a crutch. That is the fundamental shortcoming of this idea of make YouTube videos and bring your audience back to Twitch, or be on more discoverable platforms. It also doesn't answer the fundamental tail wag the dog question of, what if the platform being used as a means to an end fixes its issues? So in the case of YouTube, okay, make videos, then take them over your Twitch stream. What if YouTube gets into streaming? What if YouTube gets into streaming and has a pretty decent streaming setup? And YouTube does have a pretty decent streaming setup. So, minus some of the emojis or better TTV or something that Twitch has, YouTube streaming gets the job done. And at the same time, because the platform is so strong on video, streaming doesn't have to be your be-all, end-all. It doesn't have to define you. You don't even have to call yourself a YouTube streamer. Because in this ecosystem, video is very well defined, very well mature at this point. And quite frankly, if you look at videos versus streams, there are things that videos and streams are better at. It's not a good idea for your videos to do what your streams are supposed to do, and your streams to do what your videos are supposed to do. So, streams are better for informal, off-the-cuff kind of stuff like that. How's shaking? Are we having earthquakes or something? Streams are used for informal, off-the-cuff, quick responses to what's going on, similar to what vlogging used to be, except you don't have to go through all the rigmarole of creating a video for something that's essentially a live stream, but with a few jump cuts. So, videos, on the other hand, are things you want to craft, make it look like television. It's one of the reasons why I made the decision to go back to a slower format, similar to television, after years of going in the other direction. A couple of years ago, YouTube was going in this direction, as streaming became more of a thing. And there are things like, oh yeah, have a regular upload schedule on YouTube. Have, videos that are episodic, or da-da-da. No, that cuts into what makes videos great. And what makes videos great is what you can do with an editor. Simple. Have exactly the message you portray, convey, exactly the message you want to portray or convey. Do exactly what you want to do and nothing else. Make it a good use of your audience's time. That's videos at their best. Streaming is for the other stuff. Streaming is for stuff that can be off the cuff. Streaming is for things that aren't very organized. You can do a hangout stream, as I call them, where you're just chilling with your audience. That's what Harris is talking about. It's like, I think streaming is going to be a way for creators to, just an add-on thing for creators to connect with their communities. It doesn't have to be that. You can do something similar to a radio show with a stream. It's the difference, though, between some kind of live event and some kind of crafted thing. In music, we're talking about your studio albums versus your concerts and gigs. In video, we're talking about, like, just run the camera, live footage versus stuff that you create, like a motion picture or something. If you make a movie or a short film, that's what we're talking about here. And it used to be the case that in the absence of what YouTube has nowadays for streaming, it used to be the case that in the absence of what YouTube has for streaming nowadays, that YouTube was going in a certain direction that kind of dissolved some of the good stuff that some of the good stuff that YouTube was known for. But now that you can either stream or make videos on YouTube, now that you can do that, I think this has been fixed big time. What if the platform being used as a means to an end fixes its issues? So here we are with YouTube. There was a talent exodus off the Twitch a couple of years ago because people wanting to become full-time creators could have an easier time as Twitch streamers, because there wasn't this tie-in with advertising or fighting with the algorithm or anything. But nowadays, you have things like channel memberships and super chats and things along those lines. You have those kinds of things. So there are answers to what originally drove all those people away. And that's the risk you take when you try and carve out what you are in an industry based on... That's the risk that you take when you try and carve out who you are and what you're known for by doing something that the incumbents aren't doing. So, a platform like Twitch doesn't measure up. That's a platform problem. That platform doesn't need a crutch. Yeah, we're missing a word there. Platform doesn't need a crutch. And so that's really the issue here with this. Also, let's not forget, some people just like certain platforms and stay on one all the time. They're not going to follow you to Twitch. They're not going to follow you to TikTok. They're not going to follow you to Instagram because they're not really involved in all of that. So if you're constantly trying to get people to go over to other platforms, there's only going to be limited success with that sort of thing. So yeah, it looks like the spam blocker just blocked a bunch of spam or something. Saw some numbers on the screen, unless this is glitching out again. Wouldn't be the first time that YouTube live control room is screwed up like that, though. Either way, some people just like certain platforms and they stay on one all the time. There are certain people that will never give Twitch a chance. There are certain people that will never give YouTube a chance. So this is the fundamental problem with this philosophy. It was always going to fail at some point. Can't grow on Twitch, so make YouTube videos to grow an audience there and bring the audience back to Twitch. If a platform like Twitch doesn't measure up, that's a platform problem, and the platform doesn't need a crutch. What if the platform being used as a means to an end fixes its issues? Some people just like certain platforms and stay on one all the time. Bottom line, it wasn't if, but when this philosophy was rendered obsolete with zero credibility. Why should you make your people jump through hoops? People like what it is that you do. Why should you make them jump through hoops because you want to do something radically different from what they're already following you for? If they like your videos, why should they go off to your Twitch channel and watch you play video games? Why should they go to your TikTok and watch you do goofy little 1-minute videos with your smartphone? If there's an answer to this question, then fine. But you can't expect that from not just anybody, but a large group of people. This is the way it is. People watch what they want. It wasn't if, but when this philosophy is rendered obsolete by zero credibility. Oh, look, we have another glitch. We'll just reload live control room. There we go. So the old glitches with live control room are still going on, huh? I'll just reload it. Yeah, it wasn't a thing last time, but I'm still not used to it. But it wasn't if, but when this philosophy was rendered obsolete with zero credibility, because if you spend time building a YouTube channel to make all these videos telling people, oh, you want to be big on Twitch, go off to YouTube for a while and come back. Why should they? So, it wasn't if, but when this philosophy was rendered obsolete with zero credibility, because quite frankly, people don't behave that way. There's probably some people out there that have found some kind of success to it, but by and large, crossover is something that it's a good thing if it happens to you because people are actually being charitable if they decide to do that. Now, we're talking about YouTube, we're talking about people who want to be Twitch streamers going over to YouTube. I've also discussed, let's just open it up here. Let's see. We'll have to open it the other way. More. See, browse. I think your brand sucks. Sort by date modified. 2020 is a troubled decade. Da, 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 da. Let's see, what is it? There we go. Here's the reverse. This is a discussion that we had before about people on YouTube who wanted to go off to Twitch, and they thought that they were growing on Twitch just because they had an audience conversion of their YouTube audience. TwitchTuber. Wait a minute. Why is that still? Oh, we gotta close. We gotta save and close. Save it. There we go. And I'll just relink to this as well. YouTuber audience conversion is not Twitch growth. This is something we talked about before. This is the inverse of that. There we go. This is the inverse of that. This is somebody who's on YouTube for a long time, and then they don't like the algorithm or whatever. They get furious about YouTube, and then they storm off to Twitch. And because some of their audience goes over to Twitch, a conversion ratio, they think it's a form of Twitch growth. The issue is, though, it's their own mental way that they've conditioned themselves. They were upset at YouTube because they didn't think that what they had was good enough. So they're biased in that respect. Then they go over to Twitch, they start from zero, especially with Twitch's problems, and they misinterpret an audience conversion as a form of Twitch growth. So the reverse of this is true as well for people coming over, for people going from YouTube to Twitch. But today we're talking about, see here, we're talking about the reverse, where Twitch streamers come to YouTube. And there's a couple of very important differences. For one thing, concurrents aren't a thing on here, because all of your YouTube streams can be edited down into videos. We're going to just leave them up there, see if anybody watches them. The algorithms might pass them around. I've actually been surprised with some of the numbers that some of these streams have been pulling. You're talking like single-digit views, but the ad revenue from a monetized after-the-fact stream, or VOD, as it would be called on Twitch. Let's see this here. Bookmarks. There are actually some streams that are pulling in ad revenue similar to YouTube videos, getting way more activity. So if I start by revenue, for the last 28 days, you got the usual videos making the circuit, finding endless audiences and stuff like that. Then you start getting down, you eventually start seeing stream replays. What hath Twitch wrought? Serious thoughts on the streaming bubble and stream life crisis, with only 4 views in a month, brought in about as much revenue as the Southgate Beef Stew Redux, one of my Ashen's pastiches. That's incredibly popular with lots of views, and it's benefiting from the pastiche wave that's going on YouTube right now. As YouTube continues to develop the algorithms to link together stylistically similar content, my pastiches are actually getting some views. When I parodied Ashen's for a couple of years and did sofa reviews of my plaid sofa. I'm doing some food videos nowadays, but I don't want to be a blatant rip-off of Ashen's, even though it would probably help in the algorithm, because stuff that is stylistically similar is getting clumped together, and the technology, folks are working on the technology to clump everything together. So let's see here. Some people like certain platforms say, it wasn't if but when this philosophy was rendered obsolete with zero credibility. So, bloom where you're planted. Or should I say, bloom where you plant yourself. That's the world we live in now. Bloom where you're planted means do well no matter where life takes you. Bloom where you plant yourself means, okay, you pick a platform, then, do what you can on that platform, but keep an open mind. See, bloom where you plant yourself, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, etc. But that's it. We should probably change the title of the slide to the obsolete TwitchTuber philosophy. So, we all know, of course, that YouTube is only a couple of UI updates away from having something that's way more competitive with Twitch. And actually, if you dig around and you compare the features of the platforms, there are some really stupid things that are holding YouTube back. Just like there's really stupid things that are holding Facebook back. So, what we have on our hands here is a situation where just compare them, but don't think that you need to be in the back pocket of whatever your favorite platform is. Always be open-minded. And if it means dropping a Twitch partner contract in order to be like affiliate tops, so you can be able to do different stuff on different platforms as long as you don't multi-stream, so be it. But there we go. Was an if but when this philosophy was rendered obsolete with zero credibility. Bloom where you plant yourself, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, etc. Another very important thing. The in-house audience of platforms like YouTube can spot when someone's using the platform as a means to an end. And this is one of the things Harris talks about, where he talks about Twitch streamers having a hard time starting YouTube channels. You know why? Because there's these streamers that hear all this stuff and they're starting bare bones YouTube channels with a couple of VODs and some clips and some highlights, and people can tell that they're just dumping stuff off from Twitch. I mean, it's just zero effort, zero improvement. You're just dumping stuff from your Twitch channel. Okay, we get it. There's problems on Twitch. You don't need to make YouTube into the crutch for a platform that isn't delivering for you. That's the thing. It's interesting, too, this whole idea of recycled content. Under the right circumstances, taking stuff to other platforms afterwards can be a good thing. It shouldn't be automatically downplayed just because someone wants to do it. But there is something to be said, though, for dumping Twitch stuff on YouTube when people can blatantly spot that you're putting zero effort into what it is that you're doing. They're going to catch that. They're going to make their decisions based on that. It's people for you. Doesn't matter whether they're right or wrong. So many people will do whatever they think is right in their own mind, regardless of whether it's actually right. And if that means snubbing you because of this, then so be it. The in-house audience of platforms like YouTube can spot when someone's using the platform as a means to an end, and that's really the problem here. YouTube has a lot to offer. Don't blow it off just because you want to be a Twitch streamer. So let's see. The YouTube of the 2020s is turning into a package deal, much like Facebook. Let's actually check this out. YouTube. You have videos, streams, shorts, aka the TikTok competitor, and text updates, text and picture updates via the community tab. And this is one of the reasons why I think the community tab is probably the sort of thing that should eventually not be gated as much. Now, if Facebook got their act together, we're going to leave this on the slide. If Facebook got their act together, this is what they would have. Videos, streams. They don't have a TikTok competitor that I know of. But let's see. Pictures with albums and text updates. Many things that can go on several different platforms nowadays. So if Facebook ever got past their shortcomings, they'd be a real monster in terms of YouTube competitor. Question is whether they're going to do it. The real names thing is just, they got to do something about that. Otherwise, Facebook is basically this generation's MySpace, stuck in the past and stuff. It's not to say YouTube is a slouch, but far from the video site of yesteryear, you have videos, streams, shorts, and technically text picture updates in the community tab. So when you get your community tab, you can use that for various updates here and there. The big thing you don't have is, like, if you have pictures, you don't have an album for them or something, you can do like a behind the scenes picture, you can do a poll. You know, then the community tab is the sort of thing where you have to decide what you're going to do with that when you have that as a resource. In my case, it's an alternative feed. If there's a video that isn't getting views that I think should get some more views for whatever reason, I'll put it in the community tab as a post. I made the commitment that next to nothing I put in the community tab is just going to be an update anymore. I want people to have a reason to go to the community tab. And so I'll have videos that are relevant maybe to something I'm working on right now or something of that sort. But there we go. So I would definitely say that, you know, we can have a moment of silence if we really want to for this old TwitchTuber attitude. But the bottom line is, if Twitch isn't delivering for you, don't feel like you're stuck there. Because, yeah, sure, Twitch is bigger, Twitch is bigger as a streaming platform, but is it really worth it when you don't see your concurrent counter tick up and down because you're the umpteenth person playing ESO or Warzone or Fortnite? When the weaker algorithms aren't introducing you to as many people? And most importantly, Twitch basically being the blockbuster video. All right, let me finally explain my Twitch being the blockbuster video of online media. Let me explain the blockbuster video analogy about my Twitch blockbuster video analogy. It's about time I explained just why it's so important that we look at the parallels between Twitch and blockbuster video. So blockbuster video, see here, is synonymous these days. Synonymous. Okay, blockbuster video is synonymous these days with getting Netflixed. In other words, their industry was disrupted and they couldn't keep up. Their industry was disrupted by old school disc Netflix video rentals. Was disrupted by old school disc Netflix, and they couldn't adapt. Come on, spell check. Save me from having to type it again. Cool. I'm going to put that in quotes, actually, because that's the way, you know, the textbook example, that's how you get told about this whole idea. It's not about Netflix, though. See here. It's not about Netflix, though. It's about Blockbuster. If you flip the story the other way and you don't make it sound like, and you don't put Netflix on a pedestal, fundamentally, you got to ask yourself, okay, so Blockbuster's industry was disrupted by old school disc Netflix, now known as DVD.com nowadays, and they couldn't adapt. Why couldn't they adapt? If you ask why, it's about Blockbuster if you ask why. Or do anything close to what's called a 5 why in business. So why couldn't Blockbuster adapt? Will you read about what's going on, some of the decisions? There's even a time, if you ask why, it's better to have no comma between these. There we go. Welcome to Editor. Our new blue and gold squiggles are smarter, but only available when you're connected to the internet. All right. So it's not about Netflix, though. It's about Blockbuster, if you ask why, or do anything close to a 5 why. Let's make it like that double length hyphen to make it match. Just copy paste that over. Since I'm done typing, it's not going to auto convert it. So this is the thing. Why couldn't Blockbuster adapt? Essentially, what was Blockbuster at the time they were disrupted? Blockbuster had the video store thing down pat, and won versus other video store chains. There's a couple local ones in my area that went out of business because of Blockbuster when Blockbuster came to my neck of the woods. Although I mostly rented video games from Blockbuster. It was one of those family things that just worked. I mean, you had the candy, you had the popcorn, you had the certain smell and whatnot of all those video games in that little tiny place, and movies too, usually VHS back then. It was a cool family thing, though. Have like a Blockbuster weekend or something. The parents watch the movie, and then the kids play Nintendo in their room or something like that. So, Blockbuster had the video store thing down pat and won versus other video store chains. What matters there is they had one thing that worked really well and rode that horse. My dad would say they rode the horse until it dropped. I would say they had one thing that worked really well and stuck with it until it didn't work well anymore. And by then it was too late to change. Parallels to Twitch. Twitch is good at live streaming, but has next to no support Or let me just see something here. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Content page. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it was a spam thing. Okay, good. Figured something like that was going on. All right, let's check this out here. Twitch is good at... Oh, YouTube audience conversion. Well, cool. I still have the old PowerPoint open. Let's fix that. Okay, so I've been typing that for how long now? That's quite all right. Yeah, all right, so let's just put the slides on here. Let's go over them again. Can't grow on Twitch to make YouTube videos to grow an audience there and bring the audience back to Twitch. A platform like Twitch doesn't measure up. It's a platform problem. The problem doesn't need a crutch. What if the platform being used as a means to an end fixes its issues? Some people just like certain platforms and stay on one all the time. It wasn't if but when this philosophy was rendered obsolete with zero credibility. Bloom where you plant yourself, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, etc. It just stinks that the preview window is so small on screen number 2. So I could put animations on these slides and make some kind of PowerPoint video out of this. The in-house audience of platforms like YouTube can spot when someone's using the platform as a means to an end. The YouTube of the 2020s is turning in... I'm surprised nobody said anything in the chat, or was that what was getting blocked earlier? Probably because people were insulting me about it or something, and it's something that was in the flag terms. Who knows? The YouTube of the 2020s is turning into a package deal, much like Facebook. YouTube videos, streams, shorts, text, picture updates via the community tab, and if Facebook got their act together, you had many similar features. So what I'm hinting at here is that, what does Twitch have? Streams. That's it. What does Twitch have? Streams, and barely any support for video. You can upload to Twitch when you're a Twitch affiliate, and there's also highlights and clips and stuff that is more evergreen than your past recordings, which will expire based on whether or not you're a partner or whatever. But the portfolio of Twitch is a lot less interesting. We might as well add that to this slide now that we finally fixed what this problem was over here. So, Twitch, by the same standards, has what? Streams. And it's their basic support for videos. But people are not conditioned, they're not really trained to do things that way. They're not really trained to watch videos on Twitch. You can, it's there, but it's not really emphasized quite like YouTube videos are. Let's see, I'm trying to make this bigger. To fit better on screen. We'll just do this instead. So, when you compare these three platforms, when you compare the big three platforms, Twitch has streams for the most part, and it's their main focus, and that's where this Blockbuster video analogy comes from. Blockbuster is synonymous these days with getting Netflix, but that, of course, puts the spotlight on Netflix as an innovator. You really need to take a close look. At why Blockbuster couldn't handle their industry getting disrupted. Whether it was their old systems, things like that, things like late fees and stuff, which was a selling point of old school disc Netflix and things like that. Their industry, video rentals, was disrupted by old school disc Netflix, and they couldn't adapt. That's what you'll get told. But you gotta think about why. Why couldn't Blockbuster adapt? It's not about Netflix, though. It's about Blockbuster. If you ask why or do anything close to a 5 why. What was Blockbuster at the time they were disrupted? They had the video store thing down pat, and one versus other video store chains. There were multiple chains in my area that went out of business, as well as independent video stores that went out of business because of Blockbuster. They had one thing that worked really well and stuck with it until it didn't work well anymore. Parallels to Twitch. Twitch is good at live streaming, but has next to no support for uploads. It's kind of there, and that's it. Even the new UI that they rolled out last year, that gave us the new homepages and whatnot for upload, for past stream, who you're hosting, blah blah blah, doubled down on the live side. Uploads don't even show up in that. Someone has to go into your video category and deliberately seek out your uploads, and who is doing that on Twitch? When it's more than possible to follow enough Twitch streamers to be able to find something to watch. Because I can tell you, I can rattle off 3 names right now that represent nearly covering all of my free time because they're always streaming during those times that I have some time to watch. Meowko is on the EU schedule. I'm a night shift guy, so I get up around lunchtime US East. So Meowko's usually streaming. She's about wrapping up around the time I'm heading off to work. Get home from work, or if it's on a weekend, in the middle is Jay Streezy, who streams from Vietnam, which is almost but not quite AM PM from the US East time zone. So night, day, night, blah, blah, blah. But I've seen him stream a lot longer than a lot of the other streamers I watch. So he can fill the gap. And then Yugi is in the middle of the night usually. If she does afternoon Korea, that's middle of the night to sunrise US. So it has to be morning Korea in order for her to be anywhere close to PM with when she streams. But you have 3 big streamers by themselves that can cover nearly all of the free time I have to watch Twitch streamers. With only 3 big streamers, why do I need to watch your stream? And so we run into the weaknesses of live streaming, which are similar to the weaknesses of television. So if you have, for example, a TV show, an episode of a series that's playing during a major sports event, you're probably going to lose a lot of ratings to that sports event. So, you know, something that popular, you may not get as many viewers on that episode because people were watching the sports game instead. But here's the wild part. And this is the sort of thing with, you know, drinking the purple Kool-Aid, what Twitch has done to people's attitudes on this. With TV, you have VCRs, DVRs. We've had devices for decades that can record shows to watch later. And because you're talking produced content that's made to be evergreen, or something akin to the hybrid streaming I'm doing right now, where you'll just watch the show later, you know, you'll catch it later, and you'll tape it or something, if anyone still uses that term in this wonderful age of DVRs. But you'll tape the show and watch it later. So at least with television, it wasn't an inferior experience to watch something after the fact, as opposed to your average hangout streamer on Twitch who's just chilling with their friends. I mean, if you're a hardcore fan of somebody, you'll watch VODs and arrow around past the dull bits. But if it's a downgrade because you're not in the live audience, then streaming, we've let streaming turn into something that is actually worse than live television. And it's all because of the way we think about streaming, things like Twitch culture and Twitch marketing, and just how Twitch has done so good of a job of getting people to think a certain way about live streaming, to the point where they're coming over to YouTube and they're bringing those mindsets with them and not realizing it's going to hold you back on YouTube. Having a separate live stream channel divides and conquers essentially your push to partner, because partner is based on watch hours. So people have to like what you're doing and watch it. 4,000 public watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. If you have multiple YouTube channels, you're doing divide and conquer to yourself. So Twitch streamers that come over and they start a separate stream channel from what they already had for YouTube, they're not doing themselves any favors. Either way, the Blockbuster thing. Parallels to Twitch. Twitch is good at live streaming, but has next to no support for uploads. Yeah, they don't even show up in the new UI. We looked at this last time. We can look at it again. It's just, you know, let's see. I'm on Harris Heller's Twitter. Let's go over to twitch.tv. Twitch.tv/MultimediaJay. Here's I'll just close some side menus here and make sure that the channel's not going to play really loud, or the trailer is not going to play very loud. Who's this person with the generic icon? S-Fan Radio. Yeah, don't follow his channel. Don't follow that second channel of his anymore. Let's see here. Link up to Avast Secure. Let's link to Avast Secure here and link the browser up. Here's my Twitch channel. Here's the new UI. So someone goes over and they see the channel trailer. What's in the cards at the top? Channel trailer. Latest stream, in this case from 16 days ago, because I stopped streaming ESO on Twitch so I could benefit from the better bit rates on YouTube. Jake and Bake is being hosted right now playing Mortal Kombat 11, and I made a highlight a while back which turned into the popular YouTube short for missing the Harrow Storm. uploads are not anything on here. How do you even find my uploads? You got to go to the videos tab and then recent highlights and uploads. There it is with 4 views in 2 months. Because who does this? Not on Twitch, where you have so many people to choose from that you can usually find someone live to watch, because there is so much of an emphasis here. Now, you can easily find someone live to watch, you know, just by mousing over. And one of the things that Twitch has that YouTube doesn't is a way to preview the streams. Oh, look, Indie Fox is doing a music stream instead of sitting in a hot tub all the time. Final Fantasy is doing something that I can't read here. Barry is doing an exercise stream. Yuki's doing Yugi Crossing. XBC is going to do this Yeokji Island, Tongyang, Korea. I'm sure I anglicized the living daylights out of that. Joey Chaotic, Jake and Bake is doing a tournament and whatnot. There's the stop sign cam. There's the stop sign cam where people are recording people not stopping at stop signs and stuff like that. So this isn't the thing with YouTube yet. I'd love to see YouTube put more of a mouse over preview in there. But thing is, you go to Twitch, you want to watch something on Twitch, you're probably going to find someone live, and unless you're a hardcore fan of somebody, you're probably not going to be digging around in the after the fact videos, much less doing all those clicks required to isolate specifically uploads to see what people are uploading YouTube style, especially when the discoverability of uploads is a total goose egg. That's why there's such a drop-off in views over these videos from 4 years ago. This is from the experiment with uploads when everybody was able to upload gaming videos to Twitch as they experiment with some things. Eventually, there was like 30 days or something where your video would disappear from the upload directory for a certain game after 30 days, and people had to search for it specifically in order to find it. But there was zero discoverability. Never mind the people that think there's no discoverability on Twitch. If you want your videos to not get watched, upload them to Twitch as an affiliate. But these are all decisions that Twitch has made. These are all decisions that Twitch has made as a business. And so if you wrap yourself up in, you know, Twitch this and Twitch that, then that's what you've wrapped yourself up in here. Twitch is good at live streaming, but has next to no support for uploads. Everything from the UI to the user base behavior, like what we just exhibited by showing, yeah, you can find live streamers probably. You're probably not going to go digging around for VODs or anything unless you really like the streamer, because then you have to arrow through all the dull bits and stuff. At least you can skip around. Kind of like in the olden days, watching a show on VCR and you'd fast forward. This looks dull, fast forward. Oh, wait, rewind. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, tape. I don't miss it. Don't tell my dad. I think my dad actually still uses VCRs. I've been trying to get him to do something with a DVR. I'd even offered to build him a DVR, a computer with a hard drive, so you could stop having to find all the last VHS tapes being sold in the pharmacies around here. How does he still have a VCR, though? I mean, I think it has moving parts. Wouldn't it have conked out by now? Or does he... No. I think he had several VCRs that he got as Christmas presents that sat in the box for years until finally a VCR died. He can explain that to me some other time. But I know he likes the simplicity of it, and he doesn't care for the video quality too much because, you know, he's been watching stuff on tape for years, so high def, schmy def. Everything from the UI to the user-based behavior, to the quarterly streamer numbers point to Twitch being completely or almost completely focused, make sure we're on the right slide this time, on live, while their competitors, competiros, oh man, I'm screwing this up big time, while their competitors have live plus something else. We've talked about that on the previous slide. Twitch doesn't have an interesting portfolio versus YouTube and Facebook. They just have a lot of streaming. And a lot of streamers. Revisit the numbers from the Streamlabs quarterlies. Even as YouTube shrunk as a streaming platform, watch stream ratios still 20 something. Whereas even YouTube, with its bad quarter, is still 143 for hours streamed versus hours watched. And we could rattle off so many of the baked-in elitism that's on Twitch. You're going to be biased towards a few big streamers, then the limitations of live streaming are going to kick in. You're only going to watch a couple of big streamers that you really like, or maybe your friends or something, but by and large, you're not going to be spending a lot of time looking for things to watch because you are, or people to watch, I should say, because you pretty much get an answer really quickly. Your friends, some big streamers, da-da-da. Rarely will you be like, okay, I want to find someone else to watch. You have to be really, really bored and disgruntled, especially with some of these big streamers. And the big streamers, again, they have the advantage. Full-time streamers don't have to worry about a job, can dedicate hours and hours and hours of streaming, turn into a giant hang out with your friend all day thing. People come and go, yes, and etc., but they're always available. They win on availability because they're full-time streamers. So you see, the more you analyze this, the more you really pick apart and look under the hood, the more you realize Twitch as a live streaming platform has all of this baked-in elitism because of its emphasis on live streaming. These are the weaknesses of live. And unlike television, we tape it and watch it on your VCR, nowadays DVR, and it wouldn't be that much worse of an experience. A lot of times, you know, VODs, would you watch 8 hours of someone hanging out on their computer reacting to stuff? Or have it playing in the background or something? It's not going to lead to really, you know, engagement or a fan base or anything versus hybrid streaming or videos. So, I believe I'm almost completely focused on live while their competitors have live plus something else. So, just like Blockbuster, Twitch has something that works really well. And the inertia from that, and the Twitch has something that and the inertia from that basically puts them in the same position as Blockbuster was. They have something that works really well. Why should they change? So here's the thing though, by the time Twitch changes, if Twitch decides, no, shoot, we need something like community tabs, or we need something like more video support because YouTube has more of a mix and Facebook has more of a mix, and maybe Facebook gets their act together, gets past the real names thing. Oh, shoot, now what do we do? Will it be too little too late? The last time Twitch experimented with expanding beyond live was the upload experiment. And they got flooded with Let's Plays, and then eventually, if you were following this development as Twitch tested this, you would have seen your performance tank. That's why my videos on Twitch have the view differences that they have. It depends on when I uploaded them. First, people were looking for uploads on Twitch because it was the new thing to do. You could also get a lot of crossover if you were already on YouTube and said, I'm taking my gaming videos over to Twitch. And you'd have people that would show up as well that would watch the new feature. And then they got flooded with Let's Plays. Then they started dialing things back to the point where your video would disappear after 30 days if someone browsed videos about Minecraft or whatever. Then it dropped down to 3 days, and it dropped down to, oh, look, you know, what exactly are they down to nowadays? Let me just open that back up in the other browser. If I look specifically for Minecraft videos or something, when is it disappearing? Not going to display it on the screen. I'm just going to check it real quick. Let's go to League of Legends. Let's go to League of Legends. Popular esports thingy here. Let's go to videos and let's look for uploads. Okay. Oh, people are re-uploading clips. That's it. There's no videos about League of Legends. Just people re-uploading clips and VODs. So now it's up to 7 days. I think it depends on the game. Let me go to Grand Theft Auto 5. Under browse. I think it depends on the game. Let me see. Where's GTA 5? There it is. All this role-playing that's going on with no pixel and stuff. All videos switch to uploads. 5, 6, bottom of the directory. About a week. If you upload a video to a certain game category, it'll be there for a week. Then you can't browse it. I'm sure there's a lot more uploads about GTA 5 than these clips and highlights and other stuff that's not getting any views. Oh man, there's 1,000 views on a large streamer's uploads, but hey, what about just chatting? Is the same thing available with just chatting? Browse, just chatting, videos, uploads. Who the heck would upload a video to just chat? Oh, a trailer with 1,500 views, I don't understand some of this. It's in different languages. Yeah, it's people re-uploading VODs for some reason, or whatever. Maybe they stream on another platform, and uploads are not subject to the same restrictions here, but 3 days, 2 days, 6 days, 14 hours, Can I sort by recently published? Yeah, I'm looking at uploads on Just Chatting. 1 hour, let me scroll down to the bottom. Oh, unlike Just Chatting Live, Just Chatting, holy crap, yeah, 7 days. And there's not a lot of uploads, so if you upload something to Twitch, you only have 7 days before you're out of the directory. You're not going to show up in the browse results. People have to search. Let me search for, let's see. Let me go search for one of my own videos here. Can I still search for my videos at least? First impressions of Forza Horizon 4. If I search first impressions of past videos, show 2 more videos. Nope, I do not have. Show all videos. Nah, it's gonna take a long time. How about play some stuff? There's a reason to have a title series. Play some stuff, Forza Horizon 4. Still not seeing my own video. Show 2 more videos. Show all videos. So I've got lots of extra clicking. I'll know it when I see it, but I'm just scrolling and scrolling, and I'm not... Oh, 10, 24, Oh, I have to scroll way down. You want to know why, YouTube developed algorithms? Let's see. Hopefully there's nothing TOS in this directory. Browser. Relink the browser. Relink, let me just show you what I'm talking about here. Holy crap. So I'm looking for Play Some Stuff Forza Horizon 4. Play Some Stuff Forza Horizon 4. I'll have a big blue thumbnail when I see it here. 8 days ago, 5 days ago, 23 days ago. So, I mean, this was a couple of years ago. So, yesterday, it just keeps cycling back. So even when I try searching for my own videos, I can't find them. Even when I try searching for my own videos, I can't find them. Even when I search specifically Play Some Stuff Forza, what if I add like quotes? Play Some Stuff, one word. Old school Google search skills. Still not seeing my own video, even though I have Play Some Stuff in quotes. That classic Google search trick. Forza. Yeah, this was years ago. So even the search for uploads is gated behind a certain time period, no more than last month. I should be able to find, my Forza Horizon 4 video from a couple of years ago in these search results, but I can't get to them. So let's see. Let me just check something here. Uploads. It is still there, right? Yeah, a fun overview of Forza Horizon 4. It's not even from... March 14th, 2019, so it's not even from a couple of years ago. Got it mixed up with the videos I uploaded earlier. There you go. Browser. Let's make it bigger. Make it bigger to get that copyright thing off of there. Fun overview of Forza Horizon 4. What if I search for that directly? A fun overview of Forza Horizon 4. What if I search for that directly? A fun overview of Forza Horizon 4. Get the title exact. It's not in the results. It's not in the results. Put it in quotes, that old Google trick from 20 years ago. To search as a phrase. No, I can't even find my own video. There you go. So, when I say that there is like next to no support for uploads on Twitch, there you go. Twitch has something that works really well, and the inertia from that basically puts them in the same position as Blockbuster was. So, live. And this is something Harris was talking about in his video, talking about his move to YouTube. Live. If you offer live but not much else, you're going to get left behind. Because you have two tech giants working on combo platforms, and it's not just about having the technology available for things like premieres on YouTube or live redirect or anything of that sort. Getting people to think about things in terms of not streaming all the time is huge. And what will streaming do? Streaming will eat up a lot of your time because it's tied to being live, and it's tied to one big, long, continuous thing, as opposed to recording whatever you can and releasing whatever you can. So, yeah, you have all this going on. These are all limitations of live streaming. And so if you have a lot of live streaming, you're exposed to these limitations a lot. So let me just make that bigger so it fills up the slide, because I think that's really all we need to do here. That's all we really need to discuss with this whole thing. Twitch has something that works really well, and the inertia from that basically puts them in the same position as Blockbuster was. Ergo, the reference to Twitch being the Blockbuster video of online media. Now, Twitch is right now, that's working really well for them. It's just like once upon a time, video stores were working really well for Blockbuster. Then something new came along, they didn't adjust because they already had something good that worked, among other things. And now they're the cautionary tale of not changing with the times. There you go. So yeah, the obsolete TwitchTuber philosophy, I mean, you can get the whole Stockholm Syndrome thing or whatever from Twitch this, Twitch that, getting caught up in the culture. The world will change whether you want it to or not, whether you like it or not. And so, here we are. With some of the folks that have been making videos telling people, grow somewhere else and bring those people back to Twitch. Now streaming on YouTube. Unless it was all a giant troll, who knows? Maybe we'll see them both go live on Twitch. I think Harris is serious, but yeah, the world is changing. I hate to say I told you so, just like that old song. Hate to say I told you so, but here we are. Now, you can get caught up in the whole Twitch thing, but you can get caught up in the Twitch thing, but it's just, you got to think about what you do where. I mean, I could be perfectly fine on YouTube indefinitely, but there's already people that had this attitude, and they've had problems too. So I've gone out and I've tried TikTok, and I've tried other things. I've tried other platforms, and this is nothing new. When YouTube was in its infancy, I checked out livevideo.com way back when. So I've always been curious, and that's really what keeps you from getting Netflixed, so to speak. Being open to the fact that not only can the world change, the world probably will change. Not only can the scene change, but the scene probably will change. I'm not the only YouTube creator with gray hair, but I tell you, I have a lot better attitude towards things like streaming and Twitch, or even streaming on YouTube, than some folks who've just tried to barrel along with just videos, especially even when their videos would be better expressed as live streams. Again, don't have that one thing that you're good at that you ride into the ground, or ride into the sunset, I should say, because you don't change until it's too little, too late. The world changes whether you like it or not. Now, what's going to happen? What are you going to do about it? So yeah, the age of the TwitchTuber is over. Refresh live control room. Another glitch. Wait for it to catch back up. Yeah, it said the connection's fine the whole time through, but there must be something new that YouTube's working on that keeps causing these glitches and errors. So, all right. Otherwise, is it ISP? No, it's too late for the ISP to be doing maintenance. If the ISP was doing maintenance, they would have kicked me off hours ago. Hey, yeah. You want to get involved in YouTube? Get involved in YouTube. Take the platform seriously. Look at everything YouTube has to offer, and don't use YouTube as a means to an end, because people are going to spot that, and that's going to have consequences. People don't take lightly when, you're just messing around. I mean, even things like videos that run the risk of getting pulled for spam, scams, and deceptive content. There's a channel I was looking at. I think Zach Bussey was making fun of it in a Twitch stream, interestingly enough. He's involved on the Twitch side of things with that kind of stuff. But there was this channel where literally this guy was making the exact same YouTube video with only a couple of words changed every single time. That runs the risk of problems with, say, reused content and stuff. when you're literally making the exact same YouTube video over and over again, but changing it. So like one video is about how to grow on Twitch, another video is about how to grow on TikTok, another video is about how to grow on Instagram, and you're literally just doing the same script for every single video, even the same hand gestures. We were cracking up about that in one of his shows when Zach was doing a react to this sort of stuff. But you know, we were having a ball with that. Yeah, there's people out there that do that, so just so yeah, the TwitchTuber era is over at this point. I think Harris Heller in particular is I mean, he's got a lot of good things that he does, like hardware reviews, stream beats, things like that. I think he'll do fine as a YouTube streamer. But the idea of being a YouTube streamer fundamentally means you're limiting yourself. There are things that videos are better at than streams. You just gotta know what to do where. Speaking of which, after this ESO event is over, I'll be returning to videos with some of this equipment that's been sitting there for a while. Just can't do all that many videos when I've got all these unanswered questions about equipment and what works and whether or not I should save up and get a new camera or something. Try and figure out the problem with the phantom syllables. I don't have that problem with streaming. So we got to figure that out after this ESO event is over, and a couple other things as well. There are some very legit offline reasons why I haven't made the progress on this channel in the last couple of months like I wanted to. Now, stuff is happening that wouldn't normally happen. I've just decided not to talk about it. So keep that all under wraps. Nothing related to any of this internet stuff, and it would probably be boring to just about all of you if I went over the details of it. I'm not here to farm any sympathy or pity or anything either. The more negative aspects of what I'm dealing with are my issue and my issue to man up and deal with on my own. So either way, age of the TwitchTuber is over. I don't think the philosophy of grow on YouTube and bring everybody back to Twitch has any credibility anymore. Now that you have some big proponents of it deciding to become YouTube streamers. Yeah, ideas have their time. They come and go. I mean, certainly the platforms have changed. Maybe this idea made sense 2 years ago, but things change. And when things change, you don't want to get blockbustered. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.
There once was a ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was the Billy O.T. The winds blew hard, her bow dipped down. Below me, bully boys blow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She'd not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. All hands to the side harpooned and fought her when she dived down low. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. No line was cut, no whale was freed. The captain's mind was not on greed, but he belonged to the whaleman's creed. He took that ship in tow. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. For 40 days or even more, the line went slack, then tight once more. Our boats were lost, there were only 4, and still that whale did go. Soon may the wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. As far as I've heard, the fight's still on. The line's not cut and the whale's not gone. The wellerman makes his regular call to encourage the captain, crew, and all.